What bourbons and whiskeys should you be hunting in the month of October? Let's find out. What is going on, everybody? Nathan here with the Everyday Drinker, bringing you guys a brand new video. Today, we're going to be going over the bottles of bourbons and whiskeys that you need to be keeping your eye out on the shelves in the month of October. Now, some of these bottles are leftover bottles that were unfortunately not released in September. We'll go over a couple of them, and there are a bunch of other bottles that were strictly October releases. Now, make sure you guys drop that like, leave that comment down below on what bottles you are going to be hunting in the month of October, and make sure you guys smash that subscribe button. We're doing a 10,000 subscriber giveaway. It is right around the corner, and I cannot wait. At 9,000 subscribers, I'm going to let you guys know what that 10,000 subscriber giveaway is. Make sure you guys check out that link down below for the Patreon, and without further ado, let's get into today's list. All right, ladies and gentlemen, bottle number one is going to be the 2XO Sneakerhead. This is, I think, the 5th bottle in the 2XO lineup from Dixon Deadman. This is, again, 104 proof, high rye bourbon. I was fortunate enough to try it last night at a 2XO meetup, and holy cow, this might be the best 2XO release from Dixon Deadman. This thing is an absolute spice bomb, absolutely fantastic. It beats out everything else that I've had from 2XO, and I absolutely loved this bottle. Again, 104 proof, high rye bourbon. These are somewhere on those 8 to 9 year aged bottles. Absolutely out of this world. Let's get to bottle number two. Bottle number two is going to be Barrel Bourbon's 13-year gray label. Now, we don't have much information on this one. They do a release such as this every year, where they do a high age stated gray label bottle of bourbon. You know, I loved Barrel Batch 36. I don't know if they're going to be coming out with a Batch 37 for this year. Maybe that they're only switching it up from maybe 2 releases a year to 1. But if anything is just as good as Barrel is, this gray label is going to be out of this world. You know, I've loved everything I've had from Barrel. Some batches are better than others, but I can only imagine that this gray label is just as good. And if you like those high-aged stated bottles, this is the one for you. Let's get into bottle number three. Bottle number three is going to be bottles 3 and 4. You know, Larceny and Elijah Craig, unfortunately, did not get released in September. They're getting dropped in October, so it's not a C923, it's a C1023, I think, this year. But again, we've got what these proofs are going to be. I'll put those stickers on the screen for you to see if you have not seen those already. And then they also are releasing the Bernheim Batch 2 as well for 2024. So all 3 of those are getting released in October, so keep your eyes out on those. We didn't get the crazy proof and crazy age statement on the Elijah Craig like we did last year for the C batch, but it's still a good age statement and proof point for that bottle, and it's a higher proof point for the Larceny as well. Let's get into bottle number 4. Bottle number 4 is going to be a single barrel from River Roots, and this one is called In Pie We Crust. Wait a second. That's my pick. That's right. Make sure you guys join in on the Patreon. My barrel has finally been dumped and bottled. It's being released for the Patreons first. That's right. The link is down below for the Patreon, so join in on that to secure your bottle. We have a 10-year Kentucky bourbon bottled at barrel proof. It is 120.7 proof, 10 years old. You can't go wrong with that. It's absolutely out of this world. The name speaks for itself. Tasting notes and description is over on the Patreon, so make sure you guys go check that out. You do not want to miss this. There are only 128 bottles of this bourbon on the market right now, and once it's gone forever. So you are going to want a piece of this history. Let's get into bottle number 5. Bottle number 5 is going to be our first rye, and this is the Midwinter's Night Dram Act 12. That's right, I think I'm going to be hunting this bottle this year. I have yet to acquire a Midwinter's Night Dram. Yes, the prices are increasing on everything. But, you know, I wanted a batch 10, I wanted an Encore, didn't get that, didn't really look for it last year, but I think this year, batch 12, Act 12 12, I'm going to be hunting for and getting my hands on one of those so I can do a review for you and have one for those cold winter nights, because here in Jersey we're speculated to get cold. We're also speculated to have a lot of snow, so I think a midwinter's night dram bottle is going to be the one for me and the one for you. Let's get in a bottle, I think number 6. Bottle number 6 is going to be the Russell's Reserve Single Rickhouse Camp Nelson B. Now, they've been doing these for the past 2, I think maybe even 3 years. Some of these have been absolutely stellar coming from the Camp Nelson. I think they did the E and the F. I could be wrong on that. But these are barrel-proof barrels coming from the Rickhouse, the specific Rickhouse, not single barrel, but single Rickhouse, and then they do a blend with those barrels, and then they release it. Yeah, they're a little bit more expensive. I think they're in that $300 range, but you're getting some really, really great barrels of bourbon coming from these specific Rickhouses. My specific favorite is Camp Nelson E. I think that was either last year's, or it might have even been the first release that they did of this single Rickhouse series. But again, stellar whiskey coming out of the Camp Nelson EFB single Rickhouse program that Russell's Reserve is doing. So make sure you guys keep your eyes out for that bottle. Let's get in a bottle number 7. Bottle number 7 is going to go to Widow Jane's The Vault 15-year bottle of bourbon. This, I believe, a 99 proofer. They do the vaults. They've had the 12, the 13. I think they had a 15-year previously as well. Widow Jane, I love Widow Jane so much. You get some really, really nice soft, nutty notes on there. A little bit of caramel. There's a light fruit, but it's more on that sweeter caramel-y, espresso-y nuttiness that I really find to love from Widow Jane. And Decadence batches are going to be coming out as well. If you can't find the vault, make sure you look for those Decadence, because they're finished in maple casks and they're out of this world. So both of those from Widow Jane, the Vault and the Decadence, make sure you keep your eyes out for those two from Widow Jane, because again, absolutely fantastic bottles of bourbons from Widow Jane. Let's get into bottle number, I don't even remember the next bottle. Let's roll it. Bottle number 8 is going to be the Penelope Havana. Now, this is a honey and maple cask finished bottle of bourbon, kind of like the Rio, right? The Rio was honey and Amburana. This is maple and honey. So this is going to be, again, a sweet bomb, but I don't think it's going to have that cinnamony, sweet, like Cinnabon quality that the Rio had, because it doesn't have Amburana, right? I think this is just going to be a little bit over the top sweet. We're going to have to, you know, look for this bottle, pick it up. It's one of their limited releases. They've got that. They've got their Founders series, and they've got Penelope as a bunch getting dropped here very, very soon. So this Havana bottle, it looks really cool from the sticker from what I've seen. I can't quite remember the proof. We'll see that on the screen as well. But I think that this is going to be a super sweet bomb. Again, another really desserty style bourbon. But only time will tell once this bottle gets dropped and we can get our hands on it and do a review. Let you guys know what this bottle is all about. Let's get into bottle number 9. Bottle number 9 is one that I saw actually get dropped now, but it was supposed to be released in October, and that is the Jack Daniel's Coy Hill, the newest 2024 release Coy Hill. I believe it's 129 proof. Yeah, I don't know when the Jack Daniel's 14 years dropping. We were told it was dropping back in July. Then we were told it was dropping in September. It still hasn't dropped. So I have absolutely no idea when this is being dropped. I do remember seeing the labels made for this bottle, but we haven't seen the bottles on the market. So I don't know where they're sitting. If they're sitting at Jack Daniel's still, if they're sitting at warehouses, or if the owner said, you know what, nobody's getting these bottles, they're all for us. I have absolutely no idea. But Jack Daniel's Coy Hill, the 2024 release. I think, like I said, 129 proof. You're getting some of the best whiskey from Jack Daniel's from those Coy Hill houses, and you can't go wrong with that whatsoever. Let's get into bottle number 10. So bottles 10 and 11 are actually going to be bottles that, you know, I've just started to see drop in Jersey. Heard they're dropping in PA, Delaware, and New York. So if you're in these areas, make sure you pay attention to these two bottles because they were released in other places, but, you know, us over here in the tri-state area, we unfortunately get things a little late. So the The Elijah Craig Toasted Rye I have now seen dropping in my area, 50, 55 bucks. Can't go wrong with that, right? That's a good price point for that bottle. I think the bourbon should be priced at that same price as well, but we see that going for like 90 bucks, which is absolutely mind-boggling to me. And then the second bottle that I've seen dropping in my area right now is the Wild Turkey 8-year 101 70th anniversary. Again, this is a $55 bottle of bourbon, 101 proof. It's kind of like my Austin Nichols Wild Turkey up there from 1985. It's got that 8-year age statement on it, 101 proof. Can't go wrong with that bottle at all for 50, 55 bucks. It's a nice piece of history that you can acquire and put in your collection. Now, make sure you guys check that Patreon out. Like I said down below, my barrel is getting dropped this week. So if you don't want to miss it, join in on the Patreon. But until next time, this has been Nathan with The Everyday Drinker. Cheers.